Hi everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my May TBR, which mainly consists of the Asian Readathon, but I've also thrown a couple of other books in there. I have a lot to talk about. I think I've got 8 books for the Asian Readathon and then a couple of others, so let's get started. The Asian Readathon is probably one you've already heard of. It's hosted by Cindy from Read with Cindy. I will leave a link to her video below, but basically there are 4 challenges. The first one, you just have to read an Asian book, which should be simple. Second one is to find a book that you relate to in some way or is similar to you in some way. The other one is the opposite of that, which is to find a book that's dissimilar to you or that you don't relate to. And then the 4th challenge is to read a book recommended by an Asian reader or friend. You can combine challenges, which is what I'm probably going to do, but I also wanted to pick out a bunch of books from my shelf that I knew were written by Asian authors and show you my options, because I don't really know which ones I'm going to be in the mood for. I'm definitely going to be reading 2 of them, definitely, but I do have 8 also here, so I have a bunch of options. I don't really know where to start because there are so many. I think I'm going to pick the one that I'm buddy reading. One second. So the first one I want to mention is The Bone Witch by Rinchipeko. I'm buddy reading this one with a friend, so this is one that I'm definitely going to be reading. The main character is called Tia. She is a necromancer. She is taken in by another older necromancer, Bone Witch, and is kind of taught the ropes, and I think there's probably a war brewing. Oh yeah, there is war brewing in the 8 Kingdoms, war that will threaten the sovereignty of her homeland and threaten the very survival of those that she loves. This book absolutely blew up a couple of years ago, so, or at least this series did, so I'm really looking forward to it. I think only a couple of my friends have actually read it, so I don't really know what to expect from it, but I'm looking forward to reading it. Rinchipeko is Chinese Filipino. Next we have A Spark of White Fire. This one is YA science fiction. It says here that Esme, the main character, wins a contest of skill, and this sets off events that trigger an inevitable and unwinnable war. It's still quite early in the morning, so I can't talk properly. It says here that a king wants to offer a warship to his champion, and Esme wants to enter the competition, reveal her true identity to the world, and then help her famous brother win back the crown. This sounds like a whole mix of things, and it's also very short, so I imagine it's going to fly by. I'm really looking forward to reading this one because it blew up during the summer when the second book came out, and honestly I can't wait to read it. The author of this one is Indian. I Am Thunder, which is YA contemporary. It's won a few awards, but I have no idea what it's about. I think the main character gets into a relationship with someone who never used to show any interest in her. It says here that she faces an impossible choice: keep quiet and betray her beliefs, or speak out and betray her heart. So no idea what this one is about, but I think it might be quite hard-hitting from what I've heard. The author of this one is Pakistani. My second book that I'm definitely going to be reading, or so help me God, is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. R.F. Kuang is Chinese. I've been meaning to read this book for the longest time. I read The Poppy War in anticipation for this book last year, before this one came out, and I just didn't get around to it. I think I might reread The Poppy War before I read this. It might be a whole month of me reading R.F. Kuang's books, because I love The Poppy War so much, and I'm really worried that The Dragon Republic isn't going to live up to it, or if it does, it will then be over and I'll have nothing to look forward to. So I don't know what's wrong with me, but I need to read this book because The Poppy War was so dark and hard-hitting. I'm quite hesitant to pick this one up, but I will do it eventually. Empire of Sand, which I had on my last TBR I think, and I didn't get around to. This one is about a girl who is trapped between 2 cultures. Her father is part of the ruling class and her mother is part of the lower class. I think the main character is found out by the mystics of the emperor, and she is kind of dragged into things that she doesn't want anything to do with, and I've heard amazing things about this book. Everyone I've spoken to has said it's incredible, and S.A. Chakraborty, the author of The City of Brass, which is one of my favourite books of all time, has blurbed this one and said it's stunning and enthralling, so I cannot wait to read it. I've been putting this one off for the same reasons I've been putting off The Dragon Republic, because I'm convinced I'm going to love it, but then it's going to be over once I finish it, so I just don't want it to end. The author of this one is Indian. Another book that is blurbed by S.A. Chakraborty, which is half the reason I picked this one up, is The Bloodprint. I'm not sure what ethnicity the author of this one is because I couldn't find any information online, but I do know this is a YA fantasy book. It's the first book in a series. It's about a dark force rising, which is led by a man called the One-Eyed Preacher, and there's also a resistance group forming, and I think the main character is part of this resistance group. A group of rebels versed in the power of ancient scripture and magic known as the Claim. They believe they have discovered the key to destroying the One-Eyed Preacher and his fervid followers, the Bloodprint. I don't know what the Bloodprint is, but this does sound like a really good book, and like I said, S.A. Chakraborty loved it. I'm probably gonna love it. Can't wait to pick it up. One that I'm not entirely keen on, but I do have on my shelf, so I wanted to mention it in case I do feel like I'm in the mood for it, is Norwegian Wood. I actually have no idea what this one's about. I just picked it up because everyone was talking about this around the time that another book of his was coming out. I can't remember which one it was, and so I decided to start with this. I'm not really sure what to expect from it. I don't know if it's going to have sort of a classic feel to it, or if it's going to be quirky, kind of like Catch-22. I don't know. I don't really know what kind of vibe it's going to go for, but I do know that everyone loves this. I know that everyone loves Murakami's books, so maybe I will too. And finally, the last book for the Asian Readathon, my last option, is going to be Time Salvager by Wesley Chu. I think Wesley Chu is Taiwanese American. In this one, the main character is an ex-criminal, and he has to go back in time for his job and pick up relics or old pieces of the past and bring them back for people who are buying them. One day he brings a woman back, chaos ensues. It sounds really good. I think it's the first in a series. I've also just noticed that Anne Leckie also recommends this book, who's the author of Ancillary Justice, which I also have over there. So I think I just have an idea for a new video. But anyway, this one sounds really good. I mentioned it in my sci-fi recommendations video, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So those are all my options for the Asian Readathon. I'm probably going to pick 4 of those maybe, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. So if I'm definitely reading the Bone Witch and the Dragon Republic and the Poppy War, maybe. I might pick a slightly shorter book to go with, because the Dragon Republic is a brick and I don't really know how much time I'm going to have. But we'll see in my reading vlogs which ones I decide to go with. I also have 2 books that I really want to read or finish off that definitely aren't parts of the readathon. The first one is The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. I was reading this one before I moved house, and I got 130 pages in, but then I moved house and it kind of threw me off. So I need to finish this one, and I'm definitely interested in finishing it. It's just I'm not loving this second trilogy as much as I love the first Miss Spawn books, so it's taken me a while to get through. I don't love the setting, and I'm not as connected to the characters, and Vin's not here, so of course I don't really feel as strongly about this trilogy, but I do want to read it, so I'm going to finish this one off because it shouldn't take too long. And then finally I'm going to be reading a memoir called Empire. My friend Justine bought this one for me, which I'm really grateful for. I don't know if we're doing a buddy read for this one or not. I'll have to text her. This one is adult space opera, and it's about a woman who's an ambassador, and she goes to another planet to figure out what happened to the previous ambassador. That's all I know about it. I know that my friend Angela recently read this and loved it. She gave it 4.5 stars, I think, so I'm dying to read it. I'm going to maybe prioritize this one because honestly it sounds like my kind of thing, and I'm really into space opera at the moment, so we're gonna see how it goes. I realised I didn't pick out any contemporary books really, or thrillers, so that might be a bit of an issue later on in the month, but I do have some advanced readers copies that I could get to that are going to be some lighter, fluffier reads, because if I get too bogged down in fantasy, I think I'm going to hit a reading slump, so I really don't want to do that. So I'm going to save my advanced readers copies for when I really need a fast-paced book to read. I think a lot of these books are also either first books in a series or sequels, so I'm going to spend a lot of time recapping, so I'm definitely going to need some contemporary books or thrillers, or maybe some non-fiction to kind of get me through, because otherwise I will become bogged down and I will get into a reading slump. I just know it. So those are all the books I'm planning on reading in May, plus more maybe. I'm being quite ambitious, but I'm also very much looking forward to reading in May because I've been in a couple of slight reading slumps with everything that's been going on, so I'm looking forward to getting back into the zone and working my way through these books. Let me know what you're reading in May in the comments below. Also tell me if you're taking part in the Asian Readathon, and maybe we could buddy read one of these books. That would be really cool. Thank you so much for watching my video. Do like and subscribe if you want to, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye.